Howdy, I'm Grey Pilgrim. Time for a little history lesson. In 1967, a group called the Thompson Tool Company, the guy working for him was named Warren Center. And Warren was a gun designer. And he came up with a design for a really cool gun. And he went to Thompson and he said, hey, I got this design. And they said, looks cool to us. Let's try producing it. And they did. And it sold like hotcakes. So much so that Thompson decided to change the company name to Thompson Center, which is Thompson with Warren Center. And it became something of a family business of the two families, the Thompson family and the Center family. And they went along for many years making their hallmark product, which was the Thompson Center Contender. This is a lovely little pistol. And what's lovely about it is that they all have, this is the break action on the thing. You can take this, pull a pin out here, you undo a screw here, pull a pin out here, the barrel comes off, and another barrel goes on. They all have this pin arrangement here, so they all fit the same stock and action on every single one of them. Matter of fact, if you look closely at the trigger here, at the hammer, you'll see there's this firing pin sticking out here, but if you spin, there's a little gizmo here you can spin around and make it a center fire or rim fire firing pin. And there's even a 22 long rifle barrel for one of these. Don't have one. Wish I had one. I've had many different barrels. Now, okay, let me go back to the history. Around 1970-ish, Thompson Center changed the design, and they went from what they called the first generation, or G1, this is a G1, to the G2, and then from the G2 they went to a new thing called the, I forget what it's called. They had a third variation of it. And they also introduced black powder guns. Well, that was going along pretty good until 1996 when they had a fire in their factory, and a bunch of the tooling and fittings and parts for the black powder side of the business burned up. And so any guns made before 1996 of that line are now pretty valuable because of their rarity. They dropped all of that line. Not all of their black powder, but a lot of it. And then I think around 2007 or so, the company sold out to Smith & Wesson. And Smith & Wesson, well, they were more interested in the castings that Thompson Center had developed, because all of these are made out of castings. And they wanted the castings for their own products. Well, after a while, they decided that the black powder stuff and the Center Contender and all the other things, Encore was the third version, that they were just a lost leader. But Smith & Wesson didn't know how to deal with things. And if you called in for repairs or parts at Smith & Wesson, what you got was an offshore call center looking at a catalog and seeing whether or not the part that you just described was in there. And you mean you don't know the part number? Yeah, that kind of service, right? The service you've grown to know and love so well with, say, Microsoft or Google or any other modern IT or software or hardware company. Anyway, the people who used to work at Thompson Center, see, they closed down the factory, shut everything down in 2007, and for many years, actually it was about 2010, I guess they shut it all down. And for many years, these guys were just moping around with not much to do. Well, the news is recently I just heard that they bought back the name and they were reopening a new version of Thompson Center Contender, which means, or Thompson Center, and going to be making the Contender line. I don't know if they're going to do the black powder stuff, but they're doing the Contender stuff. And that's kind of cool. By the way, the barrel on this right now shoots 223 or 5.56 NATO. And this thing is the loudest gun I've got because it's so short that that cartridge just comes out of there screaming fast, and usually with a wall of flames behind it. Other barrels I've got are this big long thing. This is in 357 maximum, which was another round developed very similar to the .30 carbine. And this barrel is chambered in 357 maximum, 357 magnum, or 38 special. You can shoot all of them out of this. And it's a neat little barrel. And then I got these two. This one, I cannot take this into California. This is a 45 long Colt / 410 shotgun barrel. It is bored, so it's a bored through cylinder, a bored barrel. So this is not a short barreled shotgun. Matter of fact, Thompson Center went to the Supreme Court with a case on that because the ATF tried to say that they, well, first of all, the Encore line, they had, and earlier Thompson Center Contender lines, they had them in this pistol format. They also had a rifle format where they would have a rifle stock or barrel that would stick out the front and a rifle stock on the rear. Great, except that you could take this barrel off and put it on this one or put this barrel on the rifle. Well, that's a short barrel rifle, isn't it? Well, no. If the Supreme Court decided if it starts out a pistol, you can then put a rifle barrel on it and then take it off later, but it is not really making a short barreled rifle. So it made the ATF sad, but sorry. But anyway, this, though, in California, is considered a felony to own this, especially if you own it with a Thompson Center Contender. So I won't be taking this into California anytime soon. No, thank you. And this one is just as weird. This is a 44 Magnum or 44 Hot Shot, which was an early sort of a scatter shot that you could get in 44 Magnum. Both of these barrels use chokes. You'll see a choke in there. And if you have one, this is the wrench to fit it. So you put that in there and you can screw out the choke. And you can see the choke coming out here. Oh, come on. It's a really long threaded thing. And there's the choke. You take that out and you've got what do you call it? An unchoked pistol. But it also works, this uses the exact same wrench. Oh, that one's been in there a while. To take out the 45 Long Colt 410 barrel. And it shows another choke in it. These are the only two I know of that they did that on. And this particular barrel, the 45 410 one, is kind of rare. They made it in both round barrel and octagonal. And I've seen the octagonal ones. Those are the real rare of the rare. This is a round barrel. And it fortunately will fit, all three of these will fit with this foregrip here, because they don't come with a foregrip. By the way, you'll notice they all have pre-installed sights on them. This means that regardless of which barrel you go with, the round is zeroed without any problem just by replacing the barrel. You can get barrels in anything from 22 long rifle or 17 all the way up to, I hear that they even made a 600 Nitro Express one. I would never shoot that, but I really wanted a 4570 one. I thought that would be awesomely cool. You know, just to shoot a 4570 pistol. Anyway, Thompson Center is back, and I'm happy about that. Oh, by the way, the safety on this thing, on this particular one, it's a Gen 1, is on the hammer itself, so that, by the way, you cock it by, oh, come on, take the safety off first. You open the breech and shut the breech, and the shutting of the breech is what cocks the gun. So then you can put it back, and this is what I'm going to just Well, I'll put the safety on so I could dry fire. Hair trigger, absolute hair trigger. It's just unbelievable. Come on now. Yeah. Well, whatever. Thompson Center Contender. These are a blast to shoot. And they're very popular with both silhouette shooters and hunters. You can get scoped barrels for them and everything. Anyway, neat pistol, and I really like it. Happy trails.